Let me discount immediately that the airport, Jomo Kenyatta Airport, is not on sale. This is a public asset. It is a strategic asset. And if it was going to be sold, you can only do it after a full public process that Parliament endorses. So anybody who is giving the impression that the airport, Jomo Kenyatta Airport, has been sold is not being factual. It is not true. What we need to appreciate is that we will need to modernize our airport. And that means investment will have to take place at the airport. We need a new terminal. You remember there was a greenfield terminal, but it never took off. The contractual engagement had its challenges. There was litigation, it stalled, and the rest is history because it's stalled in court. So what we know that is important is that going forward, the Kenya Airports Authority must look at its investment program very, very carefully, make sure that everything is transparent, so that during the expansion process of the second terminal, if it is under PPP arrangement, and let it be done properly, thoroughly, through the legal process, so that everybody knows what is going on. But I want to assure Kenyans that the Kenya Airports Authority is not up for sale. The other thing that I want to mention to Kenyans is that one of our long-term strategies is to create Nairobi as a logistical hub. And we are talking even with the United Nations offices in Nairobi, so that apart from just the new terminal that will come up, we want to create Jomo Kenyatta Airport, have part of Mombasa at the port, and have all through to Naivasha logistics hubs that meet certain standards, so that the United Nations can use this destination, Kenya, as a logistical hub for their operations. Just the way there's a logistics hub in Italy, Brindisi, by the United Nations. So these are some of the long-term objectives we have around the Jomo Kenyatta Airport, but it's not for sale. So I hope that clears the air. Now, Mr. Chairman, to realize the above-mentioned realignment, the fiscal framework for the financial year 2024-25 budget has also been revised in the following manner. And I draw members to page 8, which deals with the revenue projections. Paragraph 15, the total revenue, including appropriations in aid, has been revised to 3,057.4 billion. That is 3 trillion, basically, which amounts to 16.9% of GDP. And it comprises of ordinary revenues of 2.6 trillion and A&A of about 425 or 26 billion. The point figures are there. The review of the revenues has taken into account the base effect arising from the outcome of the collections in the financial year 2023 to 24, and then withdrawal of the Finance Bill 2024 and impact of the Withdrawn Land Act Amendment Bill, because that has also been withdrawn. The revised revenue projections also include additional revenue expected to come from the extension of the ongoing tax amnesty, We project that we could raise up to 30 billion from the ongoing tax amnesty. And then we hope to raise by winding down 47 state-owned enterprises, we could raise 7.3 billion Kenya shillings. And then we also realize that there'll be an impact of an increase in road maintenance levy, where we can raise close to 32 billion, which we propose to accrue to the Exchequer. The net of these adjustments are also indicated on the table below, that is table 3. But basically, what we are beginning to bring out is that the impact of the withdrawal of the finance bill is extremely heavy on us as a country. Now, what are the expenditure projections? On paragraph 17, our projections have been revised to 3.8 trillion. That is 21.4% of GDP. And this comprises a recurrent of about 2.8 billion, 15.7% of GDP, and the development of expenditure now drops to Kenya shillings 579 billion. That is only 3.2% of GDP. That, Mr. Chairman, is the development expenditure, just 3.2% of GDP. That is a very, very big hit. The total allocation of shareable revenue to county government is projected at 410.9 billion Kenya shillings. That is 2.3% of GDP, which is inclusive of the 30.8, the carryover that I referred to. And then we have an allocation to the contingency fund of 4 billion. Mr. Chairman, at paragraph 18, because you will notice that the expenditure, even though we have gone cut back, but there's a financing deficit that is now arising. This fiscal deficit, including grants, has been revised to Kenya shilling 761 billion, that is 4.2% of GDP, in the financial year 2024-2025. Before the withdrawal of the Finance Act, the projection here was about 3.2% of GDP as the fiscal deficit, but now it has had to widen. This fiscal deficit will be financed by net borrowing of 356.4 billion, that is 2% of GDP, and net domestic borrowing of 404.6 billion, 2.2% of GDP. The overall gross change in the financial year 2024-25 national government budget, Mr. Chairman, again is indicated in table 4. The overall gross change in the financial year 2024-25 budget is a reduction of 121.8 billion, which reflects 1.9%, which is within the provisions of Article 223 of the Constitution. This is really unprecedented because it's the first time in the history of Kenya that a supplementary estimate is coming into place barely a month after the new financial year comes into force. So we are truly living in completely uncharted waters, and therefore this calls for very tough measures. I think, let me just put it on record, that I'm acting in so many ministries, but I want to assure Kenyans I'm not earning any acting allowance. because tough times call for austerity measures. So I think it should go on record that that is the position. Commercial bank lending to the private sector declined to grow by 4.5% in April 2024 and 7.9% in March 2024, down from 13.2% in March 2023. This has had negative effects on private sector activities. The consequences of fighting supply-driven inflation is that it has negative effects on economic vibrancy in the short term. So basically, we are living in a dangerous situation where we are beginning to slow down the private sector from a trajectory that was picking up. Mr. Chairman, the current account balance or the current account deficit improved to 3.9% of GDP in the 12 months to April 2024, down from 4.7% of GDP in a similar period in 2023. And this was supported by 7.7% decline in goods imported, reflecting lower imports across all categories except machinery and transport equipment. Here you can also say that we benefited from the increased food production, and therefore there was less of food imports. Our exports increased by 2.9%, reflecting increased exports of agricultural commodities and re-exports. Mr. Chairman, tourism receipts rebounded faster than anticipated to their pre-COVID-19 levels. Tourist arrivals improved by 27.2% in the 12 months to March 2024, compared to a similar period in 2023. So that was a real good show from the tourism sector. Mr. Chairman, remittances increased by 12.8% to US dollars 4.5 billion in the 12 months to May 2024, compared to 3.997 billion over a similar period in 2023. This increased forex inflows into the country. Some went to investment while others supported household consumption. That means there's a very strong growth in the diaspora remittances. Mr. Chairman, tight policies and flexible exchange rates, coupled with initiatives to attract foreign direct investment and enhance export performance, are anticipated to help stabilize the current account deficit around 4% of GDP in the medium term. So whatever we do, we must make sure that we are not chasing away foreign direct investment as a nation. Mr. Chairman, our foreign exchange reserves, the official foreign exchange reserves, which stood at 7.8 billion US dollars, that is an import cover of 4 months, 4.1 to be precise, was available up to May 2024. And this continues to provide adequate cover and a buffer against any short-term shocks in the foreign exchange market. The exchange rate to the dollar has stabilized in the range of 128 to 131 since February 2024. The exchange rate to the dollar stood at 129.5 by end June 2024, from an all-time high of 160.8 by end of January 2024. Through the repayment of the 2024 Eurobond, the government successfully removed the investor uncertainty and market perception improved significantly. The appreciation and stability of the exchange rate has created confidence and triggered inflows of foreign direct investment and attracted investors to the Nairobi Securities Exchange. This appreciation has helped to reduce debt service costs, improve performance of domestic borrowing, and stabilize interest rates.